Thank you, Harsh. All right. I hope everyone can hear me. Nice. So, what do we have? Logical reasoning. Okay. Before starting, let me just give you some um, a short tips about logical reasoning. So, yeah, I have given examples like CAT, ZAT, SNAP, CET before, starting from 2010 to 2013, so 3 years precisely, and I have seen a lot of learned a lot of things about logical reasoning questions. So the good news about this question is anybody can actually answer all the questions. The bad news is you don't know how much time will it take to answer those questions. So the idea is to make sure that we are able to answer the questions in a stipulated amount of time, and making sure that we don't go wrong anywhere. You don't need any specific math skills or anything for that. You just need a proper peace of mind. With that in mind, do you guys have your question sheets with you?
Swapnil, you can present your screen so that they'll be able to see that question sheet.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Alright, so first and foremost, when you actually look into the section, what you have to see is choose the one that you would like to solve first. Now, there will be a set of questions which will have a lot of information. There will be a set of questions which have less information. So, whenever you go for this, look for some questions which have very less information, short questions to start with. I mean, I'm not saying that they might be easy or tough, but it's at least you'll save a lot of time to read the question and decide whether you want to do it or not. So, based on that, let's see which one we can begin. This one is short. This one is short. Okay, so let's start with this question. So, there's a plan above shows an office block for 6 officers A, B, C, D, E, and F. Both B and C occupy offices to the right of the corridor. As one enters the office block, you can see the entrance arrow. Now, over here, you see the arrow, right? So, when you see the arrow, you should understand, look yourself entering in this direction, facing this direction. So, this side, so this will be your entrance side. And this will be your right hand side. Okay. Next, now A occupies an office to the left of the corridor. So we know that A is on the left hand side. E and F occupy offices on the opposite sides of the corridor, but their offices do not face each other.
And so, if possible, can you zoom the screen? if possible.
Okay. Is this fine?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So E and F occupy offices on the opposite side. So they sit on the opposite side, but we don't know exactly where. So E could be here and F could be here. But they have said one thing, that they do not face each other, which means if E is over here, F will not be over here. F can be this over here or over here. Next. The offices of C and D face each other. So we know that offices of C and D face each other. Means if C is over here, D is over here. We don't know exactly where. E does not have a corner office. So E is not in the corner office. E sits either at the center or the center. F office is further down the corridor than A's, but on the same side. So F and A are on the same side, and we know that further down means A sits before F. Like if F is on this end, A will be over here, or F is over here, A is over here. Anything is possible. So let's jot down our possible comments that we have. So from all the statements that we read, so we know that A is over here on the left. And we can have either E or F over here. Effectively, F or E over here. We don't know where exactly they are, but we know that they do not face each other. Offices of C and D face each other. So C, we have C slash B over here. E slash C over here. E does not have the corner office, so we can say it will not be over here. Or over here. So either E can take this position, or over here, and we exactly don't know where the A is. And if you look at the last statement, it says F office is further down the corridor than A is, but on the same side. So we know that F is on the left hand side, so I can remove A from here and remove F from here. Now what do we know? We have A, F on left hand side, E on right hand side. B or C, C or D, we don't know precisely where they are. And yeah, I forgot this one. Both B and C occupy offices to the right. So we have this directly to this. E is also here. So I can remove E from this equation, C from this equation. So now it's clear that A, F and D are on the left hand side. E, C and B are on the right hand side. Is it clear till now?
He does not have a corner of the C information.
या we'll see अपन वो देखते हैं information E का बाद में, but ये clear है कि A F D लेफ्ट साइड में और E C B राइट साइड में.
Yes, sir.
With this in mind, when we know that A F and D and E C and B are over here, and we know that E does not have a corner office, so E can be either this or this. But again, if you look, they said that E and F do not face each other. So let's look at possible options for E. If E is over here, F over here, or F over here, right? But they are specifying very clearly that F's office is further down the corridor than A's, which means that A has to come before F. So F cannot take this position. This goes off. So now we clearly know that F is over here, E is over here. Now A can be this one or this one. But let's look at one more condition that they have given us. The offices of C and D face each other. So if the offices of C and D face each other, which means C यहाँ नहीं होगा because इसके सामने F होगा और यहाँ already E बैठा हुआ है, तो C has to be over here.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, can you use the highlighter or something on the screen because it's not visible and थोड़ा समझने में difficulty हो रही है, sir. So can you do so?
Okay, मैं try one more thing actually. Let me see what change. ये ठीक है? Okay, is this fine?
Yes, sir.
So we know that C and D face each other. So since C is over here, we can take B. Now we have E, we have F, we have C, we have D. We just have the other two other people. So we can straight away put them because there's only one guy left on that left-hand side, that is A. On right-hand side, B. Once the arrangement is complete, you can actually go ahead and answer all the questions. It's actually, I'm having a tough time actually. I'm used to using a board and chalk to teach. This is the first time I'm doing it online like this. So please bear with me. Okay, till now, any questions in the arrangement?
No, sir.
Akka?
तो मेरा तो सब बाकी होगा नहीं.
No, please, अगर कुछ नहीं समझ में आया तो please बोलो, because the initial arrangement is very important. You can type, I think, chat. No. Okay, can you tell me what exactly, which part you did not understand? Alright, I'll go again. It's fine. Okay, so let's track back and start again. So let's see. So the plan of our office shows an office block for 6 officers, A, B, C, D, E, and F. So we know there are 6 officers who sit in that corridor, and they have shown us the entrance. And if you look from the entrance, face towards the direction, you can easily figure out which is your left-hand side and which is your right-hand side. So
No doubt, sir.
there were some people who said no, so I was.
तो
No,
आपने
no,
बोला ना.
okay.
हाँ,
Fine.
वैसा.
That's it. Okay. Chalo, we'll take it. So fine then. Try to answer these questions then. So if E sits in his office and faces the corridor, whose office is to his left?
ठीक.
If E sits in his office and faces the corridor, so E is over here, he is facing
Option 3.
direction. So whose office is to his left? Option 3. Option 3. Okay, nice.
Yes.
Good. Next one. Whose office faces A's office? This is A's office. Who is facing A?
Sure.
Right? Yes. Nice. That's E, right? Yes, sir. Who's Gunjan?
Yes. E. E is the answer.
Who is or are F's neighbor? Who's F? F has only one neighbor, which is A. Right? Now, D was heard telling someone to go further down the corridor to the last office on the right. To whose room was he trying to direct that person? So D was telling somebody to go further down the corridor, to go further inside, on the right. So further inside on the right means this side. So whose room was he trying to direct that person?
B's office.
Nice. Yeah, B. Okay, so everybody clear with this one?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. This one. So I remember
Hello,
this
sir.
question. Hello, yeah.
Sir, can you tell me the meaning of that leash, L-E-A-S-H? What's that?
Oh, the the dog on leash मतलब उसको पकड़ के रखा हुआ है, मतलब चेन से पकड़ के रखा है.
Okay, thanks.
So just it's a very simple question, and I remember this when I was giving the SAT exam way back in 2009. Just go through it and try to answer it. Just try, give it a shot for like take 2 minutes. And if there's something that you don't understand the question, ask me.
So is it option 3?
I don't know. You can figure out later on, but you got C. Who else got option 3?
Sir, Jugal Santok.
No, who else? Apart from you, is there anybody else who got the same answer?
Oh, sorry, sir.
No, it's fine. It's okay. Okay. Do I have any answers? Yes. Okay. So let's go to this question now. So children are in pursuit of a dog whose leash has broken. Krishnarajan is directly behind the dog. So this is kind of a directional question. So you just go step by step and try to give the direction the way you're moving. This is a dog, and we know that this guy A is right behind the dog. Now Rangarajan is behind Krishnarajan. Now there is one thing that you should understand over here is they have specifically mentioned first that the guy K, Krishnarajan, is directly behind the dog. But this guy Rangarajan is behind Krishnarajan, but they haven't mentioned whether if he is directly behind him. He could be anywhere behind him. Keep this point in your mind. So I'll just put R behind him, but I don't know exactly where this R is. There could be somebody between these two guys as well. Now Natarajan is behind Rangarajan. So there is one more guy who's behind Rangarajan. Natarajan. Premarajan is ahead of the dog, walking down the street in the opposite direction. So this guy, Premarajan, is walking in the opposite direction. As the children and dog pass, Premarajan turns around and joins the pursuit. So as they are passing, this guy sees the dog and even he wants to help. So he turns around and follows them. He runs behind Rangarajan. So now what's happening, this guy, when he turns, he is running behind Rangarajan. Now again, as I said, he said he's running behind Rangarajan. So I don't know exactly whether is he behind N over here or over here. Right? He could be here too because even this is behind Rangarajan. And over here too because even this is behind Rangarajan. So I'll just place it somewhere over here at the top. Let's see over here. This tells us both N and B are behind R. Next statement says Krishnarajan runs faster and is alongside the dog on the left. So now this guy is running faster and this guy goes to the left side of the dog. The left side will be this, and it's with the dog. Rangarajan runs faster and is alongside the dog on the right. So this guy is on the right of the dog. Now the question is, which child is directly behind the dog? So you can have this guy or this guy, and either of N or P can be behind the dog, right? Am I clear? It can be N or it can be P, right? So, with that thing in mind, you cannot have any of these answers as your right answer. So it cannot be 1, it cannot be 2, it cannot be 3, it cannot be 4. The actual answer should be cannot be determined. So this example is a type of question that you normally face in your exam. Sometimes you get this kind of wrong options. It happens. It had happened inside. So what they do normally is they either give points to everyone who attempts the question, or they just don't count that question in the final score. But if I have to attempt this question, I would go with none of the above as my answer. Because I cannot say specifically it's Natarajan or Premarajan. It could be either of them. Best answer is cannot be determined. But since that option is not here, I would mark none of the above. Am I clear? So there is a tendency like people.
Sir, एक doubt है sir. Sir, if none of the above is not mentioned in the question, so हम क्या choose कर सकते हैं? If नटराजन और प्रेमराज.
उस केस में अगर ये नहीं होता तो कुछ भी सेलेक्ट कर लो, नटराजन या प्रेमराज सेलेक्ट कर लो. मतलब नॉर्मली क्या होगा, सबको मार्क्स मिलेगा या किसी को भी मार्क्स नहीं मिलेगा. बट आई वुड सजेस्ट कि इतना मेहनत करके अगर सॉल्व किया है तो मार्क्स चलते हैं. बट मार्क ईदर ऑफ एन और पी, दोनों में से एक मार्क. But yeah, it's very important that you read the sentences very, very clearly. The only thing over here was it was mentioned that Krishnajan is directly behind the dog, but the other statements just say behind, behind, behind. None of them are actually saying is it directly behind or just behind or things like that. So this thing you will face even in different kind of arrangement, So a person is sitting to the left of one person. So how much left, you never know, like exactly left or how much left. If they don't specify, you can't assume any position. You just make sure it's on the left hand side or on the right hand side. Fine?
Yes, sir.
See. Alright. We're talking about arrangements. Now let's look at this one. Just again try to read this question for a couple of minutes and see. If you don't understand any particular statement or sentence, ask me. Oh, can you see the question now? 7 varsity basketball players, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, are to be honored at a special luncheon. The players will be seated on the dais in a row. So they will sit in a row. A and G have to leave the luncheon early, so must be seated at the extreme right. So over here, since A and G have to be seated and they have to be extreme right now, it's up to you to decide what is right and what is left over here. My assumption is just look at yourself facing the screen. So your right is right and your left is left. Okay. So assuming that I can have A can be here and G can be here, or E can be here, or A can be here. Either of it is possible because they haven't mentioned where A and G are sitting. They just said they should be at the extreme right. Now, B will receive the most valuable player's trophy and so must be in the center. So B has to be in the center. So we know very well that B is here. C and D are bitter rivals and therefore must be seated as far apart as possible. So this sentence means so C and D has to be at the extreme far. So if C, let's say C sits over here, D has to be sitting over here because this two positions seem to be the only possible pair of positions which are extremely far away from each other. And I cannot have this and this because they are just next to each other. Extremely far means the farthest they could be. So you can have C over here and D over here, or C over here and D over here. We have A, B, C, D, which are E and F. So we can have E or F over here and F or E over here. That's the only thing left for us.
सर सर आप जो पोजीशन दे रहे हो ना ए ईयर बी ईयर बट वो दिख नहीं रहा स्क्रीन ओनली क्वेश्चन स्क्रीन ही दिख रहे हैं
Oh, नहीं दिख रहा.
नो
अभी दिख रहा है?
यस
Yes, sir. Now it's well.
So I'll go through it again. So there are 7 people who are supposed to be honored. The players will be seated on a row. A and G have to leave the luncheon early, so they must be seated at the extreme right. So I chose this to be right. So I can have A and G over here, or G and E over here. We don't know specifically where they are sitting. B will receive the most valuable player's trophy, so must be at the center. So we know B is at the center. C and D are bitter rivals and therefore must be seated as far as possible. So the only distance which is farthest over here would be this position and this position. So I can pick C or D over here, or D/C over here. We have 2 guys remaining now, F and E, so they can take either of this position. So we don't have exact position of anybody except D, right? So with that in mind, let's try to answer these questions. So which of the following, okay, before moving ahead, is everyone clear about these positions?
Yes, sir.
Okay, nice. Alright, so which of the following cannot be seated at either end? So let's look at who's at the end. A can be at the end, G can be at the end, C can be at the end, D could be at the end. So C can be, D can be, G can be. Only F is the guy who cannot be at the end because F either takes second or third position. Which of the following pairs cannot be seated together? So let's see. B and D can sit together. There is a possibility. C and F. C and F. If you look at this, they can sit together. There is a possibility. D and G. Again, D and G. There is a possibility they can sit together. E and E. Now E is over here and E is over here. So there is a no chance that they could be seated together. So option 4. Which of the following pairs cannot occupy the seats on either side of B? So who cannot be on either side of B? So PK, one side you can have either F or E, or you can have C or D. So let's see. F and D are possible. यहाँ पे F होगा, यहाँ पे D होगा, quite possible. D and E, same. D or E is possible. E and G. E is over here, but G has to be in the last two positions. So E and G can never occupy a seat on either side of E. So answer option 3. Yes? Yes, please. Okay. Let's take some interesting question. Now that you guys have warmed up, we can actually move with some question with some lot of information. Now, for questions like these, you will have to spend some time to create a table and jot down the information, whatever is mentioned, and then try to conclude what exactly you need to answer. So just try to read the question and have an idea in your mind of what will you think of solving this question. One way you can do it is, try to create a table. If you have a paper alongside, just write down the timings. The timings is from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. So just write on 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., and so on until 2 p.m. and try to see where everything is fixed. Okay. Can you guys see my screen now? So what I did over here, I wrote down time.
Sir, little right side में swipe करो.
अभी So मैंने क्या किया, सब टाइमिंग्स लिख के दिए यहाँ पे. So 9, 9:30, 10, 10:30, 11, 11:30, 12, 12:30 up there. So based on the information, what do you know that the Sati Savitri plays for 1 hour from 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. So from 9 to 10, 1 hour, and from 2 to 3, second shift. So this is SS is for Sati Savitri, RS is for Reshma or Shira, JG is for Juba Gulam, SK is for Sundarkant, VA is for Veer Abhimanyu, and JR is for Jhansi Ki Rani. We know that Juba Gulam runs for 1 hour, Sundarkant runs for 30 minutes, Veer Abhimanyu runs for 1 hour, Reshma and Shira for 1 hour, Jhansi Ki Rani for 30 minutes. Now looking at the show time, so we fixed Sati Savitri. Now RS, Reshma and Shira, 9:30, 12 and 2. So 9:30 to 10:30, 12 to 1, and 2 to 3. Next, JG run for 1 hour at 10:30 and 11:30. 10:30 and 11:30. Next, SK runs for 30 minutes at 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. At 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. RS VA runs for 1 hour at 10 and 11. So 10 to 11 and 11 to 12. And JR runs for 30 minutes at 11 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. 11 to 11:30 and 1:30 to. So this will take some time to write down, but if you just quickly use your pencils and paper properly and just jot down, you might be able to do it in a minute or so. Now they have asked us further you wish to ensure that you get a lunch break from 12:30 to 1:30. One thing that is important over here is 12:30 to 1:30 lunch break, which means anywhere between this. So I just need this time for lunch. So one thing I can assume is probably I will not be watching this show because it affects my lunch time. So in which of the following way can you do this? Now, instead of, there are many possible ways you can do this, but to solve this question, let's go with the option. So first option says Sati Savitri is viewed first, Sundarkand is viewed third, and Jhansi Ki Rani is viewed last. Let's say Sati Savitri is viewed first, Sundarkand is viewed third, which means I can only watch RS second, but which is not possible because they both are intersecting in timelines. If I see this first, and if I see this or this third, the only option for second is this, which is not possible. First one is out. Second option, Sati Savitri is viewed last. Sati Savitri is over here, viewed last. Veer Abhimanyu is viewed third, and Reshma or Shira is viewed first. RS is viewed first. So this is first. And Veer Abhimanyu is third. If this is first, this timing cannot be possible because they both overlaps. This has to be the one. So if this is first and this is third, I cannot see any show that I can watch second. Because this overlaps with this overlaps with this, and even this overlaps with this. So there is no way I can have a second show with this combination. So option 2 is out. Option 3, Sati Savitri is viewed first. So this is viewed first. SK is viewed third. So SK is viewed third means, again, same issue. This and this. We don't have which one will be second because this overlaps and even this overlaps. This is gone. Now let's look at the fourth one, which says Veer Abhimanyu is viewed third. So this can be first, this can be second, this can be third. Okay. Reshma Shira is viewed fourth. So it will be fourth. Then Jhansi Kirani is viewed fifth. And this can be fifth. So if you look at the fourth one, it seems possible. So Veer Abhimanyu is third. Three over here. Reshma Shira is viewed fourth. So I will probably take this should be fourth. Jhansi Kirani is viewed fifth. This is the last show. 3, 4, 5. So I can have this as 1. And I can have this as 2. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a possible combination, but the only problem here is this show, it overlaps with your lunchtime. So now, if I actually go with the logic of the question that I have asked, further wish to ensure that you get a lunch break from 12:30 to 1:30, then none of the option is actually your answer. Am I clear? Anybody has any problem with this till now? So with that in mind, we can see that actually none of the questions, none of the options can be your answer. But again, as I said, there is a tendency of having this kind of thing in the exam. So if we have to mark an answer to this question, I will go with option 4. Because at least I have a proper set possible to watch. The only thing is it's only overlapping with my lunch time, but I can watch all 5 together. I haven't made any mistake.
सर
Yes, sir.
सर ऑप्शन 3 आ सकता है ना मतलब
हाँ मैं वापस चेक करता हूँ. Sati Savitri is first. This is first. Veer Abhimanyu is viewed third. So this is third, let's say. Veer Abhimanyu is third. Oh no, sorry. Sati Savitri is first. Sundarkand is third. This key is third. This is third. JG is fourth. JG is fourth. Oh yes, this can be second. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I can watch this and this too. Yeah. Sorry, my bad. Option 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Yeah. Option 3. Maybe I just read the option 3. It's fine. So, okay. Is it clear now? Option 3.
Sir, can you explain once again for the third option? Because it same as the first option for the first two.
The only difference is the first one says JR is viewed last. Now, if you look at the first one option, let's see. Sati is deleted. Let's go. Sati Savitri is viewed first. Sundarkand is viewed third. So let's say this is your third. JR is viewed last. JR is viewed last. So if I see, this is the only option for last. But next is, what about second? If this is first and this is third, do I have any second over here? Okay, this is second. First, second, third, this is last. And I can see.
Okay, now it's clear. Thank you.
Anybody else? सबको समझा? Okay, I'm assuming समझा. Let's move. On a similar round, try to look at this question. Now, इसमें बहुत सारा information है. So, आराम से पढ़ो. Take your time. I'll give you like, let's say, 4 or 5 minutes, and try to write down all the information that is given, and just make sure you have grasped all the information in the question. Don't miss any information. Okay, सबने question पढ़ा? Anyone जिसको question नहीं समझा बिल्कुल भी? Is there any part in the question that you don't understand? Anything? Let's question into my Excel sheet. Okay. So now, based on the question, it's very important, like what important information that you grab and try to start with. Now, in this question, when I go through, there's information about timing, there's a show, there's a family drama type, there's a news-based type, there's a detective, they have given the name of the shows that they want to play, and they have said the kind of show they are, the suspense thriller, family drama with social message, with no social message, with adult content, and things like that. So, where to start? So, when I go to the question, the main information I find out is there are basically two information given. One is a family drama, second is a news based. So, in family drama, they have said the family dramas bring in maximum revenues for the channel and they are scheduled one after the another. So, this information is all the family drama will be together. So, I can just write down over here family drama 1, family drama 2, family drama 3. They should be together. Right after each other. Next information. Two of the family dramas have a social message and one does not have a social message but has adult content. So I can say there is one with social message, second with social message. One does not have a social message but has adult content. There are total 2 shows which have adult content. Now, since they have said there are 2 shows which have adult content, so there has to be one show which comes under news space category which has adult content and does not have a social message. So if you look at this line, the 2 news-based programs that are not family dramas have been given to adjacent slot. So till now, is it clear? Oh, there's one more information here. 2 news-based programs but are not family dramas have been given 2 adjacent slots. So again, news-based 1 and news-based 2, they are adjacent. So I know the order of the screening. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They should be in order. So 3 family dramas and 2 news-based. Till now, is it clear? Like there is a one type is family drama, one type is news-based. Family drama has social message, 2 social message, 1 adult content. News-based has 1 adult content and 1 social message. Till here, is it clear? यहाँ तो समझा सबको, नहीं समझा तो बोलो, मैं वापस बोलता हूँ.
Yes, sir, it's clear.
So you can just type in the chat, it's fine. Don't say. I didn't have an idea if you can go somewhere. Yeah. Nice. Up. Now let's look into some other information that we have. So the next set of information is 5 half-an-hour shows. Runs between 9:30. So I can just write down timing. 9:30, 10. 9:30, 10, 10:30, 11, 11:30, and 12. Now, मैं सती हूँ, the message, I would say, has a social message for the audience. So, out of 3 family drama shows, MSH has a social message. So, I'll put MSH over here. So, one of the shows which has a social message. The show Detective Doom, DD is a suspense thriller, a family drama, and also has a social message. So, look at this. DD. The suspense. It is a family drama, and it has a social message. So, second social message family drama show is DD. Two of the family dramas have a social message and one not have it. There are 2 shows which have adult content and they have been scheduled at 10:30 and 11:30 p.m. So at 10:30 there is one with adult content. And at 11:30 there is one also with adult content. The show HIV in India is a news-based program and has a social message. So I can say HIV is a news-based program which has a social message. Midnight Murders neither has a social message nor is a family drama. So it does not have a social message and it is not a family drama. So definitely it comes under news-based program. So comes under news. Now we have MSH, we have DD, we have and we have HIV. Now we need one more. So if you look at the last one, Laugh a While is the 5th program. They haven't given any information about this, but that's the only slot available. So Laugh a While is the 3rd family drama available for us. So it is a program which has adult content. Now, with this in mind, if I try to arrange these shows in the order, we know that 3 family dramas should come together and 2 news-based programs should come together. We know that at 10:30 there is an adult content program and at 11:30 there is an adult content program. Also, there is one more information given which says that the show MSH has been scheduled for 10 to 10:30 slot and has a family drama preceding it. Now preceding it मतलब उसके पहले. So MSH is scheduled at 10 to 10:30 and there is a family drama before it and there is an adult content after it. So since all these 3 family dramas should be together, we can assume that this program with adult content has to be LAW, Laugh a While, and the one preceding MSH will be Detective Doom. So we get DD, MSH, LAW together. Now, other thing you can simply put on at 11:30, you know there's an adult content program. There's just one left, which is adult content, which is a news-based MM. So comes at 11:30. HIV in India comes at 7. Now, any problem here? any doubts? I'm assuming some doubt. So based on this information now that I have, slide. Put answers over here. Now, can you guys answer the questions? When is Laugh a While scheduled? Laugh a While, 10:30 to 11. Based on the information above, which of the following is not implied? Midnight Murders is a news-based program. It is a news-based program, which is implied. Laugh a While has adult content. That is implied. Detective Doom has adult content, which is not implied. Detective Doom is a family drama with social message. It does not have adult content. Option 3. When is HIV in India scheduled? 11 to 11:30. Clear everyone? अगर नहीं समझा तो बोलो मैं वापस से I can explain everything. It's fine.
सर लास्ट का दो नहीं समझा वो HIV और एडल्ट कंटेंट का टाइमिंग
ये वाला? Okay. So अभी इन्होंने टाइमिंग पर आ जाता हूँ. So we know that very well. They have given that MSH is planned at 10 to 10:30. और उसका उन्होंने बोला है कि उसके पहले एक फैमिली ड्रामा है और हमको पता है कि 10:30 to 11 एक एडल्ट कंटेंट प्रोग्राम है. ठीक है. ऑल्सो हमको पता है कि जो तीनों फैमिली ड्रामा है एक के बाद एक आएंगे, साथ में होने चाहिए. तो अगर ये MSH है उसके बाद एक एडल्ट कंटेंट है, द ओनली एडल्ट कंटेंट इन फैमिली ड्रामा सीरीज इज लाफ अ वाइल. सो वो लाफ अ वाइल होगा. एंड द वन प्रीसीडिंग MSH is Detective Doom. Next, we also know that 11:30 को एक एडल्ट कंटेंट प्रोग्राम है 11:30. The only adult content which is left in our list is Midnight Murders, which is a news-based program which has adult content. So Midnight Murders आएगा यहाँ पे. बचा क्या? HIV in India. That's the only slot left. So HIV यहाँ पे. Clear? Right. How much time is left? I don't know.
15 more minutes.
We have time. Okay, let's take up. Fine. This question. Now this is some other type of arrangement. So we saw the tabular format, we saw the row format. Now this is a circular format. Just read that question quickly. So there are 6 people sitting around a round table. Now, unless and until they have specified anything in the question, you have to assume that everybody is facing inside towards the table. So सबका direction of facing is towards the center of the circle. Okay. Next, they have given all the names. Pick one name जिसका position is defined with respect to other people a lot. Like over here, see, Pankaj is sitting left of Dayanand, who is facing Kundan. Ranjan is sitting right of Dayanand. So Dayanand के बारे में बहुत ज़्यादा information वो दिखा है यहाँ पे. So I'll pick Dayanand as my first guy. Let's position Dayanand now. So let's say Dayanand sit over here. So Dayanand is facing towards the center. So Dayanand ka left will be on this side. So right on this side, left on this side. Let's see. Pankaj is sitting left of Dayanand. So Pankaj on the left. I don't know exactly how, but on the left somewhere. Who is facing Kundan? So Pankaj is sitting left of Dayanand. Who is facing Kundan? So Dayanand is facing Kundan. So right opposite to Dayanand, there is this guy called slightly opposite. Ranjan is sitting to the right of Dayanand. So Ranjan somewhere right hand side. Yash is sitting left of Pankaj. So Yash is sitting.
सर पंकज राइट में आ रहे हैं ना सर?
Pankaj right में.
आपने जहाँ पे ड्रॉप किया है पंकज लेफ्ट नहीं है बट आपने राइट साइड में ड्रॉप किया उसको.
Oh, okay, नहीं मैंने जो लेफ्ट एंड राइट अज्यूम किया है ना बेस्ड ऑन दयानंद. सो
दयानंद के ऊपर से लेफ्ट एंड राइट किया ना.
सो दयानंद क्यों किस तरफ दिखा ना. सी इसलिए मैं बोला कि अज्यूम करो सब लोग सेंटर में देख रहे थे. ऑल आर वाचिंग एट द सेंटर ऑफ द सर्कल. तो दयानंद इज वाचिंग इन दिस डायरेक्शन. तो दयानंद का लेफ्ट ये होगा ना और दयानंद का राइट ये होगा.
राइट राइट राइट.
So Yash is sitting to the left of Pankaj. So Yash Pankaj left में आ गया. Abhishek is sitting right of Ranjan. So Abhishek है तो रंजन के राइट में आ गया. किधर है पता नहीं but राइट में. 1 2 3 4 5 6 के 6 सेट हो गए. Further, if Pankaj and Ranjan swap their position, अगर पंकज रंजन की जगह आ जाएगा और रंजन पंकज क्या आएगा तो लेट्स से रंजन यहाँ पे आएगा और पंकज यहाँ पे आएगा. ठीक है. एंड यश एंड अभिषेक स्वैप पोजीशन. अभिषेक यहाँ पे आएगा और यश यहाँ पे. Then who will be to the left of Abhishek?
कुंदन.
Everyone? Who is to the left of Abhishek? Yes, it will be Kundan. So anybody over here जिसको नहीं समझा ये setup? Anybody having any difficulty understanding the directions left and right? See, in this it is very important that you actually assume that everybody is looking at the center. So ताकि तुम लोग लेफ्ट और राइट चूज करने को इजी पड़ेगा. ठीक है, आगे बढ़े. Let's look at this question. Okay, everyone, let's go to this question. So this one again is a row arrangement with a lot of information. So the 11 players of Indian cricket team that won the T20 World Cup are lined up in a row from left to right. So we know that 11. The captain of the side is in the middle of the row. So the captain is in the middle. So I'll just make a note. This guy is captain. ये पता नहीं कौन है, but captain है. So middle में. The wicket keeper is at the start. So start, I am assuming this direction from left to right. So I'm assuming left to right direction. So this would be the wicket keeper. Now let's go with other information. Goni and Sachin are to the left of the captain. Captain के left में, मतलब this side. So let's say you have Sachin. We don't know exactly किधर है, but they are on the left. No player stands between Robin and Yuvraj or Mohit and Ajay. So your first condition. So no player stands between, मतलब दोनों एक दूसरे के बाजू में. But you don't know कौन left में है कौन right में exactly. So I can have any possible combination. I can have Robin or Yuvraj or Robin. And similarly, you can have Mohit or Ajay in any possible combination. Okay? यहाँ पे किधर है पता नहीं, but बाजू बाजू में है इतना पता है. there are 7 players between Robin and Dravid. Robin और Dravid के बीच में there are 7 players. So now let's look at combining the two information that you have, the statement 3 and statement 4. So if I place Robin over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 Dravid यहाँ पे रहेगा.
सर रूबिन को राइट में रखो, ड्रेविड को लेफ्ट में रखो.
नहीं मैं जा कर रहा हूँ. So या तो
सर
ऐसा
इट विल
होगा,
बी इजी.
तो उन्होंने बताया नहीं ना कि कहाँ पे है. They just said कि बीच में 7 लोग हैं. So we are moving.
सर वो 9 स्टेटमेंट मैंने पहले देखा इसलिए ऐसा बोला.
Now we know that Robin और Dravid के बीच में 7 लोग हैं. But Robin और Dravid कहाँ पे बताएंगे. So I'll keep all my options open. So either Robin or Dravid, Dravid or Robin. But if you look at statement 3 and 4, we know that there's Robin and Yuvraj are next to each other, right? So what we are looking is, we can have a case जहाँ पे Robin, Yuvraj, Dravid, we can have Robin, Yuvraj, Dravid, and Robin here, Yuvraj here, and Dravid. These 4 possibilities I have. So या तो युवराज रॉबिन के राइट में रहेगा या युवराज रॉबिन के लेफ्ट में रहेगा. And based on that, all the position I can see there are these 4 possibilities possible if I combine statement 3 and statement 4. Now look at the next one. Gautam stands to the immediate left of Ishant. They have said Gautam stands to the immediate left of Ishant. This is good. So all we have to do, Gautam आएगा और इधर ईशांत आएगा. ये पोजीशन गारंटीड है. I know that. Ishant and Irfan are immediate neighbors of Srinath. This is again interesting. So I try to see if this is Srinath. I have Ishant over here. Irfan. This is Srinath. This can be Irfan. And this will be Ishant. इन्होंने बोला they are immediate neighbors. But कौन कहाँ है वो पता नहीं. But if I look at my previous statement, it says Gautam is to the immediate left of Ishant, which means ईशांत के लेफ्ट में गौतम है. तो ये वाला ऑप्शन पॉसिबल नहीं है. बस इस केस में ईशांत के लेफ्ट में श्रीनाथ है. So I can just get rid of this option. So we have Ishant, Srinath, Irfan, and since Gautam is left of Ishant, I can put Gautam. Let's get rid of. I know this arrangement. G, Gautam, Ishant, Srinath, and Irfan. ये बात पढ़िए. Next. Dravid and Irfan are to the right of captain. This is a very good information. Yes. Dravid and Irfan are to the right. Now, if Dravid and Irfan are to the right, which means Dravid और रॉबिन का जो ये 4 possible option था, we definitely know that Dravid is on the right hand side, so I can strike this option. But in this case, Dravid will be on the left hand side, so I can simply strike this out and strike this out. So we are left with either this one or this one. Next. There are 6 players between Sachin and Srinath. So again, we Sachin and Srinath. There are 6 players between Sachin and Srinath. But we know Sachin is on the left hand side of the captain, so Sachin का position ये रहेगा. Now, let's try to combine this statement 8 and statement 7. तो ये formation और ये formation देखते हैं. तो इसके हिसाब से तो श्रीनाथ यहाँ पे है, तो इरफान यहाँ पे होगा, ईशांत यहाँ पे होगा, गौतम यहाँ पे होगा. ठीक है, by combining this and this information, I know I can put all these people around Srinath over here. So Irfan, Srinath, Ishant, and Gautam. Next thing. In the past, Dravid as well as Goni have played as wicket keepers. One of them would have been the wicket keeper during the World Cup. So they said that Dravid and Goni, they both have played, and one of them has to be wicket keeper. And I also know the wicket keeper is the first position, so it has to be on the left side of the captain. We know Dravid is on the right side, so definitely this position goes for Dhoni. सारे अरेंजमेंट में से ये फिक्स हो गया Dhoni. Now let's try to work out quickly. Now the only clear information we have is it's either this or this and this. So let's try to place Sachin. Now if I place Sachin over here, I know that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. यहाँ पे श्रीनाथ होगा, यहाँ पे इरफान होगा, यहाँ पे ईशांत, यहाँ पे गौतम. Next, Dravid और रॉबिन के बीच में 7 लोग चाहिए. So definitely Dravid has to come over here because I cannot put Dravid anywhere in this line. Dravid comes over here, which means 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Robin will come over here. But since Robin is over here, I cannot have Yuvraj behind him. So Yuvraj comes over here. Then I am left with A. I don't know which of that's one possibility. Now let's look at, is there any other possible option for us? तो मैंने सचिन को यहाँ रखा. अगर मैं सचिन को यहाँ रखता हूँ तो क्या होगा? So Sachin is over here, which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Srinath last आ जाएगा. Which means Irfan has to go beyond that, which is not possible. So the only position I can keep Sachin is second. Hence, this is your formation. Dhoni, Sachin, Robin, Yuvraj, M or A or M, G, Gautam, Ishant, Srinath, Irfan, and Dravid. Okay. Anybody? Any problem? Any question in that? और सबने आंसर कर दिया. Smart. सबको समझा? Any doubt? Any question? Arrangement में? I'm assuming समझा. So let's quickly solve the questions now. So who is the captain of Indian team? Cannot be determined. It could be either Ajay or Mohit. दोनों में से कोई भी हो सकता है. So cannot be determined. Who is at the second position in the lineup? Second position goes to Sachin. If Ajay is the captain of the side, then who is standing to his immediate left? अगर Ajay captain है, तो उसके left में कौन होगा? Mohit. So Mohit is the answer. If Mohit is the captain of the team, then who is standing to the 8th position? अगर Mohit captain हुआ, तो 8th में कौन है? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Doesn't matter who the captain हो. 8th position goes to Ishant. So option 1. Clear? Anybody? Any doubt? Sounds good. Okay, I think I'll end it over here. I hope you guys had a decent time. You understand what we were doing over here. Have a nice idea of how logical reasoning works. I mean, there are many other type of questions that you might see in the future, but this is a very general questions on arrangement. It could be linear or circular or tabular. So just take some time out and practice these questions again. And yeah, if you have any doubts, yeah, please let me know. I can help you. Harsh?
Yes, Swapnil.
Yeah, I think we're done.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much, guys. If you have any doubts, just post me on our WhatsApp group. ठीक है, और कुछ रहेगा तो we will again interact with Swapnil sir. Thank you, Swapnil, for your time.
No problem.
Take care. Bye bye.